Thank you for visiting Avolution.com. This 10-minute presentation, which is part 2 of a 2-part series, is designed to provide a high-level overview, as well as some key issues to consider when designing your organization's business continuity program. Or, if you have a program already, improving it to increase capability or efficiency. Part 1 focused on defining business continuity and why organizations should consider thinking about business continuity risk. Part 2 focuses on how to implement and maintain business continuity programs and who should be involved. The full text of this presentation may be read within the Notes tab on the right-hand side of the screen. Use the buttons at the bottom of the screen to pause, stop, or play the presentation at any time. To navigate to another slide, double-click on the slide listed on the right. Avolution Consulting is an organization specializing exclusively in business continuity planning. We help organizations in nearly all industries, as well as in the public sector, identify business continuity requirements, as well as develop and improve business continuity programs in order to minimize the effects associated with disruptive events. We employ a systematic approach to business continuity that is compatible with Six Sigma, ITIL, COBIT, and management system principles. The result is a more resilient organization, not just a recoverable one. Avolution Consulting is one of a handful of consulting firms recognized as capable to assist in preparing for British Standard or BS 25999 certification, as well as assessing readiness for the certification process. BS 25999 is a precursor to a business continuity ISO standard. We also offer something unique in our profession, a complete satisfaction guarantee to ensure each client receives the expected value from our services. So how do organizations start a business continuity effort? While there are dozens of approaches, the most proven models focus on establishing a management system centered on the Plan, Do, Check, Act, or PDCA model seen here. Introduced to the business continuity profession in 2007 with the release of British Standard 25999, the PDCA model is a way to structure business continuity activities to ensure that the program aligns to management's expectations. NFPA 1600, another business continuity standard developed with the American National Standards Institute, also maps to management system concepts. As you'll see in a moment, traditional business continuity program activities fall in the Do category, but the value of PDCA is the management input and feedback that wraps around these activities, thus ensuring continuous improvement. Let's discuss PDCA. The plan process establishes objectives, targets, controls, processes, and procedures for the program to deliver results in accordance with an organization's overall policies and objectives. In the business continuity lifecycle, plan includes defining the business continuity management program, including the identification of standards, creating a policy statement, appointing a program sponsor and steering committee, and establishing an initial program scope and risk tolerance. Specific to business continuity, one of the most important plan activities is for executive management to identify what they want to protect and recover with respect to the business continuity program. These are typically stated as critical products and services. Examples of these may include new order receipt and processing, process payroll, and customer support. During the plan process, management should also assign an associated maximum allowable downtime to each critical product and service, dictating the organization's maximum tolerance for each product and service's unavailability. The Do process implements and operates the business continuity policy, controls, processes, and procedures. In regard to business continuity, Do includes a number of actions in order to understand, strategize, plan, and test the organization for business continuity events. The first step in Do is to perform a business impact analysis, or BIA, as well as a risk assessment. The business impact analysis maps critical products and services to individual departments and activities seen here, and seeks to identify recovery objectives for each. The purpose of the risk assessment is to describe the outcomes from disruptive events and the suitability of current state controls to prevent the disruptive event from occurring, as well as control recommendations to align with the organization's risk tolerance. The second step is the identification of risk mitigation, response, and recovery strategy options, and once selected, the implementation of these risk treatments. Third, plan documentation is developed, which should be written in a way to enable repeatable response and recovery performance regardless of the experience of the person leading the effort. And finally, the last step is the organization-wide training and validation of strategies and plans through exercises, and the initiation of program maintenance activities. The outcomes and resulting solutions of these activities are defined in the next slide. The check process monitors and reviews performance against established management system objectives and policies and reports the results to management for review. In accordance with most management system standards, the Business Continuity Management System should be subject to internal review to measure program performance against predefined policies and objectives. The results of said assessments should be presented to management via the established Business Continuity Steering Committee. The final process, ACT, maintains and improves the program by taking preventative and corrective actions based on the results of management review and reappraising the scope, business continuity policy, and objectives. This includes updating and maintaining the corrective actions and preventative actions, or CAPA, list, as well as ensuring continuous improvement of the business continuity program in order to constantly align the business continuity program to management expectations. As you can see, business continuity is not a project, but a life cycle-oriented effort that changes over time and aligns with strategic interests of key stakeholders. In addition, the results from the business continuity planning effort are far more than a series of plan documents. A number of solutions are identified and introduced to the organization in order to better prepare for a possible disruption. Let's review some of these solutions. Business continuity isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. Rather, it's a combination of organization-specific risk treatments designed to keep bad situations from occurring, and if they do, minimize impact. As stated earlier, organizations of all sizes populate what we like to call a business continuity toolbox, with the solutions that may be needed to manage crises, assess various situations, protect people and property, communicate with stakeholders, and recover in a timely manner. Some of the most common tools in organization-specific toolboxes can be categorized in 4 ways. The first category is titled Risk Mitigation, which is a combination of organization-wide or process-specific controls to minimize the likelihood of a disruptive event. This solutions category is often the largest because of unique, process-specific risk treatments. The second category is titled Response, which ranges from facility-specific emergency response plans and strategies to more strategic crisis assessment and decision-making processes. The third category of solutions deals with the recovery following a disruption. This category includes everything from the resources necessary to recover to the design of manual and alternate processes should primary personnel, technologies, and resources be unavailable. The fourth and final category is Communications, which overlaps with response and recovery. Communications addresses internal and external stakeholder interaction, which may be situation updates or conveying instructions to employees. Effective communications is a key success factor in a crisis situation, and therefore time must be spent on stakeholder identification, message development, and identifying the most appropriate methods of delivering message content. So who should be involved with the business continuity planning process? Well, the short answer is everyone that falls within the scope of the effort. However, different people will have different roles. Consider appointing a program sponsor with accountability for the program, as well as a cross-functional steering committee to assist in providing input on program objectives, scope, requirements, and strategy options. This group should consider meeting frequently during the initial program development and perhaps quarterly once the program is in place in order to review performance and the effect of organizational change on the program. Also consider a program manager or coordinator. Planning and program execution tasks are often decentralized, but business continuity professionals can assist management with measuring performance, consulting with management to increase capability, facilitating exercises, performing centralized training activities, and simply initiating recurring program maintenance activities. Business continuity professionals are also critical as subject matter experts during actual crisis events, advising crisis management teams on key assessments, response, and recovery tasks. Managers throughout the organization should be charged with owning their plans and ensuring their business continuity strategies mesh with the organization's strategic requirements. Employees have a role in participating on response and recovery teams, or they may simply have a need to understand how to evacuate, shelter in place, or communicate during a crisis event. Their role will be dependent on requirements and strategic need. And lastly, suppliers, business partners, and government entities should also be involved in supporting response and recovery efforts, and therefore their support should be captured early on in the process, as well as throughout the program maturation process. Where should business continuity be located in the organization? This is a difficult choice for many entities, but a good rule of thumb is that it should be placed where there is an appreciation for risk management and an appetite for facilitating recurring planning activities. Of equal importance, business continuity should be placed where there is a strong executive that has the respect of others and has visibility into all aspects of the organization, or at a minimum, all aspects of the organization that fall within the scope of the program. Like many organizations, you might ask, should the CIO, the audit director, or maybe the CFO own this program? Here are a couple of important considerations. Often, when the CIO owns the business continuity program, it's perceived as a technology initiative, whereas, in reality, it's a joint business and technology initiative. Yes, the business continuity profession grew from IT, but it is far more all-encompassing now. Our firm would also argue against having an internal audit own the business continuity program. Yes, internal audit professionals understand controls and risk management, but their role is to audit compliance with internal policies, as well as the effectiveness of controls, not own and manage them. Instead, consider having a sponsor in the CFO or the COO's organization where that person has the authority and accountability to affect performance across the entire entity. Clearly, the CFO understands risk management, sources of revenue, and the strategic direction of the organization, and the COO understands work streams, customer relationships, and strategic importance. Again, like all other aspects of business continuity, organizational placement is not a one-size-fits-all approach. You might be asking, how or where should I start? For organizations new to business continuity, we would recommend beginning with the following 5 activities. First, understand your organization's risk tolerance and the drivers influencing business continuity. This will help influence the direction and scope of the planning effort. Second, establish a program charter that outlines roles and responsibilities, including the identification of a program sponsor and a steering committee. Third, we recommend establishing a policy with management's high-level expectations. This policy statement should be shared with the organization to ensure everyone involved in the planning effort understands the big picture and their role. Fourth, establish an initial scope of business continuity effort and consider performing a risk assessment and business impact analysis. Both analyses will collect and evaluate controls, threats and requirements, and confirm the program scope. Finally, the steering committee should review the findings from the risk assessment and business impact analysis in order to finalize the program scope and establish a path forward for risk treatment and strategy development. Thank you for viewing Part 2 of this 2-part introduction to business continuity. Similar to Part 1, this presentation gave a brief snapshot regarding planning approaches and organizational placement. If you would like to learn more, we invite you to contact us. Please feel free to email us at businesscontinuityhelp@avoolution.com to schedule a no-obligation discussion on how to get started, or if you are already employing business continuity processes, how to better align your program to meet your business objectives. We also invite you to browse the rest of our website and review the various perspectives authored by our consultant. These perspectives will explore many of the topics discussed in this presentation, however in much greater detail.